Welcome back to Usapang Bayan. Kasama pa rin po natin si Mr. Tony Herbosa at pag-uusapan pa rin po natin ang Investing 101. Sir, earlier, sinabi ko po sa inyo in a seminar, narinig ko po sa isang speaker na dapat daw yung bibilin mong stocks ay yung medyo stable na company kahit medyo mahal na siya. But you said na dapat mag-invest ka naman doon sa mga companies na kahit medyo maliit ay merong potential. Bakit po different yata yung views ng iba't ibang speakers and financial experts?
You know, it should be different kasi iba-ibang klaseng tao. For example, you're 60 years old and you have 50 million or 20 million, then you have to play the safe side. You buy blue chips, you buy the stocks that if something happens, they will go down 5%, malaki na yon. But if you're 20 years old, you're 30 years old, you'll never make it buying blue chips. Because you have 500,000 pesos in the bank, you have to buy the next blue chip. You have to buy the Jollibee when it was at 5 pesos. It's a little harder, but you know, in TAP, in our mentoring site, in 2014, which was a good year, we found a couple of these jewels. No? It's on my tweet. If you go, I tweeted Double Dragon, Pikit Mata.
Double Dragon.
Pikit Mata buy at 3 pesos.
2014.
2014.
In 2 weeks, it went to 10 pesos.
Yeah.
I made an issue, sell muna at 10 pesos.
Now it's 16 na, I think, diba?
Yung 3 to 10, there was a seaman from Abu Dhabi. He's based in Abu Dhabi. He's the leader of Abu Dhabi TAP. He roaded me 3 pesos to 10. His 300,000 became 1 million. The other thing that we don't advocate in TAP, kasi it depends also on your situation, is if you have 400,000 pesos, you cannot put that in 8 or 10 stocks. You'll never make it. You have to choose your legal wife. You have to choose that 1 or 2 stocks that we look at, and then you also have to know how to trade. So there's another dynamics here, no? That you have to learn how to, tinatawag naming cut loss or stop loss, which is fundamental in our art form. If you put your stops and you observe it and you're disciplined, you can buy any stocks and you will not get hurt because you know how to exit. So yung exit, we emphasize that more than the entry. Marami kasi they go in and they buy diba? For example, diba, I said, Double Dragon hit a high last year of 80 pesos.
Yeah, like 80.
Now it's around 50 pesos. If you didn't put a stop at 70, you would not have sold. So when we put a stop, we have to be disciplined and observe that stop. So if I bought Double Dragon at 65, it went to 70, going to 80, we put a stop at 70, so that if it's collapsing and it hits my stop, I sell. Parang those are the things we teach lang. Because as you know,
Panigurado na ang ibig niya sabihin.
may times kasi maski na blue chip, no matter how good the company is, it can collapse. Best example is Asian crisis. Ayala Land went from 19 pesos down to 5. Mega World 2008, 2009 subprime went from 460 down to 47 cents. So even if it's a good company, you will be in trouble if you don't know how to trade. That's why in Traders Apprentice, the emphasis is buy as an investor, but also have the skill sets to trade if something is wrong.
Maybe, Tony, the best way we can help our viewers is if you can give us a couple of examples of your picks, no? And how you arrived at that kind of a conclusion to invest or hold or accumulate these stocks.
In 2014, and it's in Twitter, I did tweet Double Dragon was a buy at 3 based on momentum, and it hit high of 10 pesos. I like the company then. I still like it up to now. It's just that I find it overvalued at these prices.
Yeah.
We have mentors in TAP, like Kevin Ko, who has been an equity analyst for 15 years. Everything, before I buy something, I ask him. This way, I know if I'm being based on good values. No? So there are a couple of things here. One is, you can look at the price action, the daily trading, but you should also be buying companies based on the valuation. So for me, and this is something George and I learned in Wharton, is you have to know the future earnings of a company and to see if it's a bargain to be buying at that price. No? So we have all these metrics that when you're a beginner, it's a little hard, pero because of our classes and our mentoring on the Facebook site, you'll pick it up. There's a lot of sharing of Buffett, Livermore, how to make money in the stock market. People can now download these things, PDF files on our site. So a lot of people, when they go to us, it's like too much information. We try to help them narrow it down.
Siguro, Tony, para makatulong sa ating mga beginners, no, na mag-uumpisa mag-invest sa stock market, can you tell me your top 3 picks and why is that yung why would you want to buy those stocks?
Okay. First of all, my picks are not the popular picks, and I explained to you. There is a saying that if it's too popular, it's too late.
I can
Diba?
see Rich taking down notes
I
already.
will take down
sige.
notes.
For example, if in a sort of corny way, if you wanted to court Pia Wurtzbach, you want to court her when she lost 2 times, not when she's Miss Universe. Your chance is almost 0. She's just too popular, diba? So one of the stocks I like is a company called Harbor Star. It was trading at 120 maybe 6 months ago. They now got the mandate from ICTSI to do a maritime highway. What will happen now is all these ships that would unload their containers in North Harbor, for example, will not do that anymore, so that we don't have these track bans and this clogs up the whole roads. No, ICTS will put up a Cavite port, and TUGS will be the tugboat operator that will barge all these containers to Cavite. So we haven't seen the actual numbers, but we expect maybe a doubling of the bottom line just on this new project that they're doing. I also like a company, we call them the musketeers, no? Because they're small but terrible. I like the small companies. I like a company called PRMX. It's a listed company but never active because the owner, the father, was just too busy doing other things. Now it's come to a point where the kids want to take over. They have amazing land bank. They have 56 hectares in Lipa. They have that EDSA and Connecticut gas station, which is 2,000 square meters. They have 2,000 in Gilmore, 14 hectares in Antipolo. They have 7 hectares in Tagaytay behind Tagaytay Highlands, and it's a sleeping dragon. Now, 8990 Group has already come in. It's already been disclosed. And the 8990 Group is looking at some of the land banks to develop with Primex. So it's a sleeping dragon at 3 pesos. I feel it's one of those things that the moment the land bank gets done, the earnings can escalate. Now, what's also interesting about this company is it's actually an estate planning company. What is estate planning? No? A lot of their land and properties are outside the listed companies. So if something happens to the parents, they'll have to pay a huge inheritance tax on this property. So would you believe last year, they put into Primex, the listed shell, EDSA property, which is worth close to $1 billion, Stratosphere, which is a project they already completed in Salcedo, which cost them $2 billion and 80% sold, and another property, Annapolis. They put these 3 properties for $140 million into the company. Assets worth in the billions, they put it for $100 million only, thereabouts. Why? So that they don't pay a lot of taxes. So it's an estate planning. They are fixing up the company in terms of estate planning. But I think the more important thing is the potentials of the land bank going forward.
What was the third one? You said there
Third
were
one.
3.
Of course, my favorite is a company called NOW. NOW was trading at 40 cents. It hit high of 4 pesos in less than maybe 6-7 months. It's doing probably 250 now. It's owned by a guy named Mel Velarde, who I knew when I was working for Henny Lopez. He was the former CEO and of Sky Cable. Now is into the broadband business. And I think it's very interesting. What they have now is this microwave, similar to Google Fiber. They go building to building. They don't have to create the last mile going underground. They can do it on the air. But of course, as George knows, it needs line of sight. So I think it's an interesting company in terms of focusing on the high data users that seems to be underserved by the telco players now. The telco are focused on the retail market, the LTE and all this.
Yeah. So when I started investing in the stock market, sabi ko talaga sa sarili ko, I will invest long term, para sa long term. So, hindi ko po masyadong naiisip yung pagte-trade kasi sinasabi nila na may risk din dun sa pagte-trade. Do you think it's a smart decision that I made na wag mag-trade and talagang iwanan ko lang dun yung pera ko and let it grow? Because long-term investment naman siya.
I would still advise trading, and this may be corny, but my analogy to this is that the more multidimensional we become in the PSE octagon, the better. If you know mixed martial arts, di ba, you have to be a striker. Those are the traders. And you also have to know submissions. You hold on to something, di ba? And so, sometimes you have to be a trader, but sometimes you have to be an investor. So, if we have a long bull market, you have to come in as an investor and sit on that whole bull market. But when something's off, you don't know anything can happen. There could be a World War III. You have to have the instincts of a trader. You have to convert right away to cash. That's something that's not easily taught, no? So in TAP, we advocate that you develop multi-dimensional skill sets. You're a trader, but you can also rely on your investing, looking at companies in terms of their potential, but also sometimes you can be a speculator. Meaning to say, you buy a company small, you bet small, that it may become big. Now, the confusion is people think the money is made by what you buy.
Yeah.
The money is made by how you buy. Now, what is that? Tell me someone who got rich playing blackjack. Most people can tell you people who got rich playing poker. What is the difference between poker and blackjack? Poker gives you a chance to upscale your bet if it's going your way. If the odds are against you, you fold.
Yes.
If people just learn to look at the stock market the same way, that it's a poker game. For example, you bought a stock at 2, and then something happens, it's a bull market, and the stock goes to 3, 4, and they announce bigger earnings, or that they have bigger projects. It's almost like playing poker where you have 2 aces and there's another ace on the table. What do? You have to add. You have to get volume. That's why we advocate that you proactively manage your portfolio, because I'll put it this way, you will not learn to fly a plane if somebody's flying the plane for you, or it's on autopilot. The only way you will learn is by you doing it yourself. But there's a beauty of doing it yourself. You develop the instincts. We call it the instincts of the streets. Maybe it's something that you see with Duterte, di ba? Duterte can get away with a lot of things. How does he know it? Because he has that instincts, being a mayor. So the same thing with stock market. You keep doing it, you keep trading, you will develop a familiarity with certain patterns, and your instincts will actually later on tell you if it's not safe anymore or something's off.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we like to emphasize, developing one's trading instincts also.
Well, sir, we need to talk about that more later. We'll pause for a break. Please stay tuned. Magbabalik pa rin po ang Usapang Bayan. Kasama pa rin po si Mr. Tony Herbosa.